All right, I'm Sean with Illinois Missouri Entertainment. I'm here with new Seattle band Temperedcast. This is Calvin, and Calvin, I'll let you introduce a couple of the guys here with us today.
This is Nick Sundeston. He plays bass in Temperedcast, and Chris Tonneson, lead guitar.
Okay. How'd you guys hook up? I know your first album, Proximity Fuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 4-member band or 5?
That was 4 of us at that time. We didn't have Josh Perry at the time, and when we did that record, I just pretty much joined the band. What was it? A couple months before? Yeah, we put out a little demo, just so we can get gigs and stuff like right away, right after we'd written like 3 songs, and then just kind of went from there.
Okay. Songwriting process, is that you, Calvin, coming from Nick and Kelly, or where's that coming from?
It's a collaboration. We usually it all stems from one idea, no matter who it's from, whether it's a vocal melody idea or a guitar idea, or the cool thing is even Kelly, our drummers, picked up on guitars really well, and
Got that backwards.
so we were able to kind of utilize everybody's talent to kind of stem with one idea that you build into a bunch. So
Sometimes I think some of like my favorite songs have stemmed from, like, sometimes we'll be at band practice and Chris will just start fiddling around with a riff or something, some sort of pretty little riff or something. I'll really take to it, and I'll pretty much beg and plead for them to give it a chance and help me make a song out of it. And I think some of my favorite songs that we've written have pretty much come from Chris, just toying around.
And coming down, the first part of the line was head in the clouds, foot in the grave, if I got that right. And I just thought that was pretty deep. And then the song just kept rolling. That was a fan favorite. That's why you guys chose that as your first release, right?
Yeah. It just had a solid mainstream vibe to it. Like when I heard it, it was one of the first songs that we've written that I could honestly hear on the radio. I said that's got. There's just something there.
It's really hooky chorus. It's pretty simple. Not very hard to. I mean, you can hear the song like halfway through and you already know what's going on.
And we've also seen crowds sing the chorus with us, and it's usually a huge majority of the people in that crowd have never heard the song. And by the end of the song, a couple times we've seen kids mouthing the words, to the chorus, and so that also told us. That told us a lot right there.
The neat thing about that song was actually when we wrote that song, we weren't sure. Every time you write a song, you're not sure if you're going the right direction with it. So what we did was it was actually a trial run. The last time we toured with Puddle of Mud in the Northwest, we kind of just broke it out in Spokane, Washington. Just wanted to see if we were onto something. And then after the show, we're just checking our MySpace and emails and stuff, and people were kind of like, "Oh, where's that? Where can I get that song coming down?" and blah blah, and is it recorded and all that stuff. And we hadn't even recorded it. It was actually gone by the name of
Harder You Fall.
So we kind of we kept getting a really good response. We played it a few times just to kind of test it, because it went through its changes and wanted to test it out, and people just kept asking for it.
You guys got in the studio in Seattle with
Brent DeRocher.
Thank
Brewery.
you.
Yeah, it was.
How'd that change the band, getting in a studio like that?
Well, when we started recording, our previous record we did was Scotty Olsen, and we kind of wanted to try something new. We wanted to try. Our first album was really raw, and we wanted to do something. We just had like a total vision of what we were.
We've always had a vision, I think, of how we wanted to sound to the record we wanted to make.
Yeah. I mean, Chris especially had. I mean, this thing was so well planned out, and Chris had a battle plan in his head. And when it comes to a lot of the arrangements, Chris and Kelly they're just they just have a really good vision, and they can see things that a lot of people can't see when it comes to arranging things well before the song's even completed. That was the biggest difference between Proximity Fuse and Reach, was the whole pre-production process. It's like Proximity Fuse was kind of we wrote the songs and thought it out, but we didn't really take the time to break them all down, figure out why this section was here, why, but like all the lyrics and everything, why were they that way? on Reach, we went through each part. It was all laid out on paper, and everything was pre-written out and dissected. Everything, every part. It was like nobody could say like, oh, well, this is I wrote this. I'm doing this. I don't care what you say. Everything was democracy, and everybody had to have. There had to be reasons. Like you had to pick your battles. Like sometimes you won, sometimes you didn't win. But we always just kind of stepped back and took a look at it and wanted to remember like what was the best for the song, not necessarily what's best for us. You know, like what
we tried every single idea that anybody brought to the table, even if 4 of us out of the 5 were skeptical of that idea. We still humored everybody's opinion and everybody's idea. And some of the times, those ideas that ended up, being what we used on the record, because, we got to pre-pro it first of all, which we didn't get to do on Proximity Fuse. And so we got to actually, here, let me try this idea. And I would throw this idea down, and then we could all sit around and listen to it back and make a conscious decision if that's the direction we wanted to go. And if it wasn't, we had 20 more ideas, so we knew we'd find it. And, we also got a chance to do a lot of layering, a lot of vocal layering, which we didn't get to do on the first one, guitar layering. That's where we ended up picking up Josh Perry, because we just wanted a bigger, thicker sound. We wanted to utilize the 2 guitar songs that Chris was writing that we weren't able to bring to the live crowd.
We couldn't recreate it. So, but that was also another neat thing about Reach, was for the first time we were writing with 2 guitars. It wasn't, you're bringing a whole other, head to bring ideas. It was a totally different thing where, 2 different guitar styles. You got so many different ideas, and it just made the kind of ideas endless, really.
Right.
So, and getting to lay that down. And, you're being really quiet. You're going to have to step
Well,
up.
you guys were saying everything. I was going to say that it was nice meeting Brent, because he was excited about what we were doing.
Okay.
He took the time to listen to our demos and really, ingest it. And he really wasn't he's not really a rock guy. He does a lot of hip hop and rap and stuff like that. But he still saw the vision in us and the intensity and the fire and desire. And he really, put in his time to, see what we could do. He believed in us, and it really made a big difference.
How about the live show, guys? You guys have been on tour now, about halfway through this tour, and when you listen to the CD and then you go to the band live, sometimes the bands just don't sound the same. How about you guys?
Here, I'll get this one. No, I think we're pretty darn close to our CD. I definitely know that this was kind of our breakout tour,
Right.
the biggest thing we've done, and we thought we had our live show together. And I think the first time we played in Amarillo, Texas, we were like, oh man, it really stepped us up.
Well, we saw Red.
We saw Red, Saving Abel, Puddle and Mud,
They're just
Aranda,
flawless.
and they've got awesome live shows. So if we need to stick out, we need to be that much better, which is really the whole purpose of the idea behind Reach anyway, is taking what you're doing just to the next level.
Right.
We found ourselves sitting around a hotel room trying to revamp our whole live show as far as performance, introing songs, outroing songs, what I'm going to say in between songs. We hadn't thought about this kind of stuff. And we realized, how important all this is. It took us a couple of days into this tour, and we were like, man, we really need to step it up. And we literally had to sit in a hotel room and figure out how we were going to do it.
And it's just one of those things that you wouldn't know until you get the experience.
Right.
When you're playing in front of 500 people, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to make this, that much better.
The biggest thing is that it's just the energy has gotten. We're just really excited to be here and have this opportunity. So, definitely putting that extra behind each song, just basically scratching and bleeding our way to the top.
We're taking
good things about the energy and looking forward to tonight's show.
Yeah,
you guys really get into it.
Yeah, we bust our ass.
But I guarantee you, no matter who buys the CD is not going to regret it. And that's what I try to keep in my mind every time I sell a CD to somebody who's, okay, fine. I go, you're going to love that CD. You mark my words, you're going to love that CD. I tell them before I walk away every time.